I give you my heart.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be installing an every mod onto the Mark III Golf. Now I've made the every mod box. I've seen a few different ways of doing it. The box was my favourite. It looks cleaner and obviously you can adjust it as and when you want. Now I ordered all the stuff for the every mod box off of eBay and it cost me £10. If it does what people are telling me it does, £10 worth paying. Obviously, ideally you need a soldering iron, just to make it cleaner, make it more secure. Now all I've done is basically I bought a variable resistor, a couple of 400 ohm resistors. They come in a pack of 10. Obviously I'm only using one of them, and some wire. Oh, and a two-way switch. The idea is that you have the 400 ohm resistor in there basically just as a safety thing. Obviously you don't want to be going too low on the resistance, because if you go too low you're just going to cause damage. So if you've got that 400 ohm in there, most people I think run about a 250 ohm, but the sweet spot generally from what I can work out on YouTube videos is about 500. So if your safety is 400 ohms, I don't see that being a problem, really. You can't really go wrong with that. Now, a lot of people that I've seen have mounted their every switch in the engine bay. Some people don't even use the switch, they just put a relay in and have it on permanent. Now, whilst that would have been easier and I could have had it fitted by now and off driving, I didn't want to go that way. I wanted it in the car, where I could get access to it easy. You know, if ever I need to turn it off or I want to turn it on, I can adjust it. I can have just a little bit extra, I can have maximum, or I can have none at all. So with that in mind, I started looking around the car as to, where can I put it? And it didn't take me long to figure out where I wanted it. What we're going to do is the two blanking plates that normally go here, I've taken them out, as you can see, and the every mod box fits in here nice and snug. Basically, when I first started making the box, I didn't have the is it called a helping hand thing for soldering, and as you can probably imagine, trying to hold everything whilst holding a soldering iron and solder at the same time just didn't go to plan. So if this works, I think what I may end up doing is ordering another one, order another hobby box, a couple more bits, and starting again and actually planning my box out before I start soldering things together. Now, in terms of layout, I'm happy with it, but if I'd moved it up a little bit, I could have fit the wire in a bit better, and I think the wire I've used too thick a gauge as well, so it's quite hard to sort of maneuver everything. That being said, it should work. I've followed the video to instructions. I've got the pin layout for where I need to connect it to on the fuel pump. It's all going well. We should add some extra ponies. Right, so as you can probably tell, I'm now sat in the passenger seat. We've made a start, and as you can tell, it started raining. We've got one wire fed through. We've just got to obviously get our right length to get to the fuel pump and keep it tidy. Obviously I don't want to wire doing a dead straight shot. Get that on, get another wire fed through, do the same with that, strip both ends, solder this end onto the box, and the other end I need to connect it to the fuel pump, which I believe is pin 2 and 3. I'm hoping that this rain isn't going to last for too long, because I'd like to get this done today. Right then, guys, so for anyone that wants to know, I've put the wire in through here along with the sub wire and what I believe is the bonnet pull cable. Fairly easy to get to. Unfortunately, it did absolutely tip it down whilst I had all this open, which probably wasn't best thing ever. Also not overly happy with the state of that. That's got a lot of life left in it, so yes, I shall be having conversations with someone over that. Now, I've got both wires run through there, and then what I'm going to do is make a straight shot from here, along here, down, cable tight along here, on the intake pipe, and then down to the fuel pump wiring. So once I've got all that connected up, I shall show you what it looks like. Right then, so as you can see, we've got all the trims back together. We've run the cable up along there, down the intercooler pipe, and then we have spliced into the fuel pump wires. Now, I know a lot of people don't rate these Scotch locks. These ones, so far I've had quite good luck with. The only thing different between now and when I normally use them is I normally use them with thicker wire, basically this sort of thickness or a little bit smaller. So the wiring on the fuel pump is thinner, so I don't know how it's going to take with that. It is self-cutting, so fingers crossed we won't have to pull it all apart and strip it and start again. I am now just about to get inside the car and solder the connections up. Now, I have disconnected the battery. Obviously the last thing I want to do is have the battery connected and cause myself some problems. It may not cause any problems, but it's not a risk that I'm willing to take. Now, let me just find the box. I'll show you what we've got so far. So, this is the box that I've made. Now, I have had to modify it a little bit this morning, which isn't ideal. I originally did it so the wires would run out of there, and you know, that was all great. Then I remember where I was putting it, and if I had the wires running upwards, it wasn't going to work, so I've had to run the wires at the back like that. And then that there, once that's all done, will fit in there nice and snug. As you can see, I've put a little scratch there. That's so I know sort of where the halfway mark is. So I know what's half and what's full and off. That's basically just going by that bottom one there. So that's about halfway. I'm pretty sure I've done it so that counterclockwise was more ohms. So clockwise was basically more power, counterclockwise was less power. So I think I'm going to run it at about halfway, and then we'll have a play with it, see if anything else makes any difference really. But I'll get that in now. Just want to get this done now. The weather's been absolutely diabolical, and I'll show you once it's all in and hopefully working. Right then guys, so we've got it all back in the car, put everything back together. I haven't yet tested it to see if it works. I thought I would do that with you guys. Now I've followed the instructions properly, I think. Obviously I'm going to have to go through all the settings from stereo again, which is a bit of a pain in the backside. But this will be the first start. Now it should be off at the moment, but who knows, I might have wired the switch the wrong way around, which isn't really an issue. I'll still know which is which. And yeah, so I will flip it around, I'll show you what it looks like in the car, and we'll see if it works. As you can see, I've put it in there. Now this did fit a lot better, as you can see it's quite tight here, before I melted that bit down the side to try and fit the wires in. It now doesn't want to fit as snug as it was, but you get the general idea. And I think once I fettle around, oh there you go, nice and snug, fits in there lovely, everything's in. Now if I turn that up fully, you may be able to hear it gone a bit rough. Wind it back, absolutely fine. Now if I hold it at 1100 revs and then turn it up full whack, it increases, turn it back down, turn it up, switch it off. Same with the idle, if I have it up full, it's now not lumpy, it's now running lumpy. So I think I've found my sweet spot. So I've got it running, so it's just before it starts to run lumpy, but revs up a lot quicker. I'm going to take it for a test drive, obviously, just to see how much of an improvement it actually makes. Now, this wasn't a how-to video, this was just something that I was doing. It seems very popular on the Mark III TDI videos on the Mark III TDIs, and a lot of older diesel engines, just because you haven't got the same tuning abilities as you have with newer vehicles. And instead of just turning the fuel pump up, I'm able to adjust it as and when. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.